What is up, everybody? So believe it or not, we are halfway through Q3. So we are getting ready to, I think now more than ever, it's important to kind of take a look at like how can we end out this year strong and set us up for next year. Is that crazy that we can already start thinking about like, what are we doing to set ourselves up for next year? Everybody talks about like, goal planning and New Year's resolutions and all this kind of stuff way into December. But what do you want to do now to set up your foundation to make sure that you're finishing out this year as strong as you can and pushing yourself into next year so you can propel off onto what you need. So what I'm focusing on myself now is what do I need to do to level up? I don't care where you are, whether you're just starting out, whether you're just a beginner, whether you've been in business for 25 years, what can you do now to level yourself up to that next level, right? And so I was thinking about this and I wrote down like some things that I think are important to focus on. Now, some of you will resonate with some of these, that you do these really well. Some of you will think like, I need a little bit more work on that. So write in the comments like which ones you think that you're crushing it, you're killing it at, and which ones maybe you need a little bit more work on. And I think to start off with, it's important to set goals, right? I think you have to have a vision of where you want to go, where am I trying to go, and make sure that I'm setting up my goals and my roadmap to get there appropriately. And actually write these plans down and make sure that you're taking the steps to execute on them, right? First, see where you want to go, see what are the important steps to kind of get there, and then set that SMART goal. The SMART goal, again, is something that's specific and measurable, attainable, relevant, and it's time-based. Those are all important aspects to a goal. You can drop those down. Sometimes people talk about a daily number. What's your daily number out of there? Something that you need to focus on every single day that you know that if you do that, it's going to get you closer to what your overarching goal is, right? And most importantly is the idea of taking action on that, right? Two, I talk about this, a lot, the idea of like, grinding or not grinding. The reality is nothing worth obtaining is easy, right? And therefore, it takes a strong work ethic to get to wherever you want to go, right? We say the hard work is putting in that work, that extra work that's done after the normal work that everybody else puts in, right? Success, I think education obviously is very important in trying to improve your education, but knowing how to do something is only 10%. The other 90% is actually getting your butt out there and doing it. We all know how to bake a cake, or can figure it out pretty easily. Doesn't mean that we're baking a cake every day, right? Maybe that's a bad example. I don't know. But the reality is it's easy to know how to do something, especially today in the technological, educational advancement of the world. Hop on a YouTube video like this and learn how to fix your dishwasher. That's what I was doing earlier, right? So success is only 10% or so about like knowing how to do it. The rest of the 90% is actually the action to get there. I love the 80-20 principle, right? Like 80% of work gets done by 20% of the people. So be part of the 20%. It's not that hard to separate yourself out from the rest of the 80% of people that are out there in the world. Talking about separating yourself out, another thing is to be a good listener, right? Shut up and listen. I feel like this is here I am just talking, but this is a one-way medium here, right? But many people will have a conversation just like they're on a freaking podcast and they don't shut up and actually listen. I love the statement where it says, seek first to understand rather than to be understood. So many people just want to focus on making sure that, you understand my point of view. And that's all that's important to me, right? No, seek to understand other people before you seek to be understood. The idea of emotional intelligence is far more important in my mind than intellectual intelligence. And we don't focus on it nearly enough. It is important to have some intelligence, right? So if we hit to number 4, be the expert. For me, I have this idea of personal and professional development. Always trying to get myself better. Always trying to get myself better as a human, as a father, as a husband, but then also as whatever professional you are, whatever your industry is, always seeking to kind of be a little bit better. Don't assume that you know everything. Assume that there's always something else that you can learn and improve on. Another thing that I like to focus on is the idea of over-delivering, right? I think, going back to the idea of there's a lot of talkers out there in the world. There's a lot of people that will talk up a big game. Very few people actually have anything to back that game up with, right? So I like to over-deliver. Under-promise, over-deliver, and it will speak volumes to repeat business over and over again and in the people that you deal with. It's also important to this idea of prioritizing and delegating. We talked about this in another video as well. The number of things that you can do on your daily to-do list is overwhelming, right? It's your inbox is filled, your to-do list can fill up. At a certain point, you have to be able to prioritize. And depending on where you're at with your business, you probably have to be delegating. Like, who do you have that's either on your team already that you could delegate to? Is it time to get an assistant? But you definitely need to be prioritizing, and then when appropriate, to make sure that you're delegating and elevating like we talked about. You can see that video before. I put number 7 down on the list because I think all of that stuff is pivotal to make sure you have. But technology and using technology for efficiencies is huge. It's been a game changer to our business. I can remember when we struggled to call 50 people in a day, and now we're calling over 5,000 without blinking an eye. It's not even an issue. And we have a CRM, Left Main, out of Salesforce, that has so many different automations to it that it's dramatically improved our efficiency, our ability to get in front of customers, in front of clients, the ability to stay in front of them. Technology is amazing and huge. The reason why I put it further down on the list is because sometimes people get too caught up in analysis of paralysis of, I'll start once I have the right technology. No, we first started off and we had not even spreadsheets on a computer. I had a pull-out drawer that had all of our stuff in like individual files, right? And then upgraded to like an Excel sheet and then to a basic CRM, right? So yes, you always want to be kind of, leveling those things up. Technology will not replace the previous 6 things that we just talked about. And I'm going to end it with something that I feel like just kind of pulls this all together. And it's the idea of a growth mindset, right? We're either green and growing or brown and dying. I love that statement. You always want to be focusing on leveling up. And that's what I was just talking about, even with the technology. Like, sometimes you can't afford the big technology and you just got to start somewhere. And how can I continually improve and stair-step this, right? Never settling for good enough. And I think if you're on this channel, if you follow me at all, I think you probably have that growth mindset to begin with, but for whatever encouragement you need on that as well, never settling for good enough. What can I do that's going to be a little bit better for me and for others around me? So hopefully that's helpful to somebody. Like I said, drop below what you think that you're doing really well with, what you think that you need some additional help with. Maybe I can get you some resources or something like that. As always, I am Zachary Betters, wishing you a great day and an even better tomorrow. Thanks, y'all.